Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone had a really good Christmas and New Year's. I'm back in Cyprus now. I was home in England for a few weeks and yeah, it's good to be back. It's so cold here though, like absolutely freezing in the apartments. Everyone thinks that Cyprus is this really hot country, but we even get snow on the mountains. So yeah, I don't know if there's anyone watching that hasn't watched my videos before, but I'm a medical student studying in Cyprus. I'm in my third year. I'm on the St George's London degree programme and it's just delivered here in Cyprus. So we go to the Cypriot hospitals, we're taught by Cypriot doctors who have trained in either the UK or America or some of them Greece. And I just thought I'd share my experiences in a video for you. Well, multiple videos for you. This video is all about finances in med school. So it's quite a contentious subject and everyone's got different views on the best way to pay for med school. And I know in different countries it can vary as to the opportunities available for you to fund your degree. So I'm just going to give you 5 ways that I found the best ways to fund med school. And to give you a bit of insight, as I said, I'm studying abroad. So my degree is not funded by Student Finance England. And this is also the case for most students who are studying a graduate entry programme like I am. So a graduate entry programme for medicine means that you've already got 1 degree and your degree is now shorter because you've got that extra degree. So instead of 5 or 6 years of med school, you've got 4. So in one regard, it's quite cost effective in that way because it's 4 years instead of 5 or 6, but you've already paid for 5 or 4 years in your previous degree, or 3 years, however much your degree was, and now you've got another one to pay for. So it can add up and get really expensive. So here's my number 1 way. So if it's available to you, student finance is the easiest thing. You can just log on, probably using your old login from before when you had student finance from your first degree, and get money available to you really easy and really quickly. I found my student finance application to be really straightforward. They just needed my parents' information, how much they earned, and I received a maintenance loan and maintenance grant and tuition fee loan as well in my first year. And then afterwards, for my second and third and fourth years for my undergrad degree, I received everything but the maintenance grant. So I ended up getting a job and working throughout my degree, my first one. And this was as a student ambassador, and I worked in House of Fraser as well, just to top up funds. And it wasn't as if I was really strapped for cash because my parents still helped me, but I just wanted a little bit extra to be able to have fun with and feed my shopping addiction. The second thing that I've put down as a way to finance med school is when you get your offer for med school, you have the opportunity to defer your year. So your year of start, you can defer onto the next one. And this is something that I considered, but I'm the sort of person that if I have the opportunity to do something, I want to do it there and then, and I hate waiting. I'm quite impatient. And it can be to my detriment sometimes. Like in this case, I kind of had to struggle my way through med school, and I could have made things a bit easier on myself if I deferred a year. So all it is taking 1 year extra before you start, and you can use this year any way you want, but I would say the best way is to work and save money. So I was following this blog a few years back, maybe 8 years ago, and it was a girl that moved to Korea and she managed to South Korea, and she managed to save about $10,000 working and teaching English as a foreign language. And she lived really cheaply there. They paid for a lot of her expenses as well, the school. So this is something that you can look into. And I looked into it because I like traveling, and it was sounded like a cool experience for me. And one of my friends actually did it through our church. She went to South Korea and taught for about 6 months. She didn't necessarily enjoy it the most, but it was still a way to work and save money. So that's number 2. So number 3 is calling on your fail-safe, family and friends. I know not everyone is in a position where they can ask family or ask friends for support, but I've been really blessed in that regard that I've got people that I've been able to call on for support financially through both of my degrees. And I would just advise not being too prideful because At this point in our lives, we're in our 20s, we're just starting out, and people that are a lot older than us understand. They've been in the same position. So I wouldn't hold back or be shy about the fact that you might be going through a hard time financially. And it's not as if you're spending the money on something frivolous, like this is your education. And I'm sure your mum or your dad or aunties and uncles will really appreciate the fact that you're moving on to do something really good that's benefiting society and the community as well. Number 4, this one, I'm not sure how people feel about it, but it's bank loans and maybe taking out credit cards. So these things come in as a sort of last resort when you're really desperate, and the interest rates can be really, really high, and they're not as flexible with paying back your loan compared to student finance. So student finance, they're a lot more relaxed, a lot more flexible. They might send you an angry letter in the future if you decide to leave the country and study abroad and not pay for your previous loan. But bank loans they're way worse. It can affect your credit rating. It can have detrimental effects if you want to get a mortgage further down the line and you've got this debt racked up. It's something to consider and not to go into lightly, and it might be something to explore maybe when you're in your penultimate year or your final year, just to tie you over until the end. So I've got a couple credit cards and now they've been kind of put on hold and I'm not using them anymore. But if push comes to shove and it's near the end of my final year and we need a little bit to tie us over, there's a few grand there that we can pull on. It's a way to use it like that, or it could be for just those little purchases that you need to top up food, petrol, things like that. But the bank loans can be up to, 50,000? It's unlikely that you'll get a £50,000 bank loan at the age you are now if you're watching this and you've just graduated from your first degree. But it's something to consider. You could maybe get a 10 grand loan or a 15 grand loan, pay for a year and more of your medical school. There's also another loans company called Future Finance, which I explored, and they weren't comfortable with parting with money for my current degree because it's not on UK soil, despite it being a UK degree, which is a bit of a shame, but it was just something I explored at the time and everything's worked out in the end. So Future Finance is a private loans company. They fund students. Their interest rates are higher than student finance, so that's something to bear in mind. But if you're studying in the UK and you need a loan, it's something to explore maybe in between a student finance and a bank loan. So something in the middle there that could help and tie you over. So the last one, and what I've got in my picture about this video, is getting $30,000. And this was a bit of a whirlwind achieving and getting that. It was through a scholarship that I applied for, and there's hundreds of people that apply for it every year, maybe even thousands that apply for it. And there's only one, I believe, that each section of this organisation can part with and offer. The organisation is called Rotary, and I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a charitable organisation. They are different professionals in different areas, whether medicine, engineering, finance, business, and they work together to help their communities, put on events, raise money for charity. On a global scale, they try and impact and do good things. So whether it be water sanitation in different countries, maternal and child health, they've got many different pillars that they focus on and try and have a positive impact upon across the world. I found out about the scholarship online, just constantly Googling and trying to find different scholarships and ways that I could get to med school. And I literally prayed about this every single night to find a way that I could get to med school, because I had this offer and I had no way of paying for it. I didn't want to defer, which in hindsight might have been a good option, but I really didn't want to. It had been so long that I'd been after this and it was my dream. With this scholarship, I just filled in a very, 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 very lengthy form, had to write an essay, and I found out I'd been shortlisted for interview. I had to travel up to Oxford, and I was so ill, I remember it. I was so ill, I was on crutches at the time, and I hobbled my way there. My friend kindly gave me a ride up there in her car. And we went and I had this interview, and I literally said before I went in, Lord, if you want me to go to medical school and you want me to take this opportunity, then make a way. I thought if I get this scholarship, then I'm going, and if I don't, then I'm not going. So in the end, I had the interview and had to wait maybe a month to hear back. And by this time, the university in Cyprus were waiting to hear whether I was coming or not. And it turned out that I'd received the scholarship. So I was really, really thankful for that. That funded my first year in its entirety, money towards living and a bit of my second year. So that was a really great foot in the door and a good help to get me to where I am now. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But I would say if you have a Rotary group in your area, contact them, find out about the Global International Scholarship or something like that. I'll put it in the description box down below. But that's a great way to get some money behind you and fund your course. The one tip that I would give with applying for that, your degree has to line up with one of their goals of what they want to either support or eradicate in the world. So if it's maternal death and child health, that's the kind of avenue I went down with medical school. If you're looking for funding an engineering degree, then there's water sanitation and things like that they're trying to sort out. Just be smart about it, do a lot of Googling. There's other websites that you can find scholarships on. I think it's called Find My Scholarship or findmeascholarship.com. Again, I'll put that down in the description box. But these are all ways, it just takes time and lots of Googling and just be patient and it will all work out. So I've got my fingers crossed for you, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the avenues that I went down or explored. And I wish you all good luck. Bye.